Welcome to Bonehead Weekly Fun Size. And this week, gentlemen, we are talking the Cold War. We're talking about the best Cold War movies ever made. James, what was the Cold War?
Well, the Cold War, you see, was when the Russians and the United States didn't get along, and so they kept amping up for a war that wasn't actually a war.
And who eventually fought the Cold War, James?
I don't think it's over yet.
I
We
think
just
it
don't
was I
know
think
it.
it was between the Parka Company and members only.
That's a good
Yeah.
joke, but I was setting him up for his Rocky Four joke, and he never did it.
No, I was saving Rocky Four for the intro to my film, and now it's gone.
Mine
Oh, and so
actually.
you're doing Rambo. It's not over until I say so.
I'm actually going to talk about a movie that I've talked about on here a couple of times that I think is lost. And it technically is about the Cold War, but it's also about World War III. It was a movie made in 1990, directed by Jack Shoulder, who directed a ton of decent B movies. And it's called By Dawn's Early Light, starring Powers Booth, Rebecca De Mornay, Martin Landau, James Earl Jones, Jeffrey DeMunn, Darren McGavin, all-star cast. It was done for HBO, and it's about a World War III and what happens and when it erupts. And basically, it's a fantastic movie that probably shows its age a little bit now. It's a little bit out of touch and out of date. If you watch some of the characters, they sure do sound like a lot of these asshole politicians are still around today. And it's a lot of really great performances, specifically from Darren McGavin playing a Trump-esque character who was the Secretary of State who accidentally becomes president, and Martin Landau who's playing the actual legitimate president. So if you ever get a chance to watch it, I don't know if it's on Max or not because it was an HBO original by Dawn's Early Light.
I gotta go with, and I gotta say it this way because of how it is, how the name of the movie. I gotta go with 1985's Gotcha.
1985's what? Yeah,
Gotcha.
did you?
Gotcha.
Gotcha says from chaos comes order.
I thought it was Nietzsche.
1985's Gotcha. It stars Anthony Edwards. It is about it's about this kid who is in college. Him and his friends have this game where they play spy games on campus where they shoot each other with paintballs. Well, him and his friend go to Paris on a vacation. He meets this woman played by the insanely beautiful Linda Fiorentino, and she convinces him to go along on a trip to East Germany, where he ends up embroiled in a an actual spy chase with the Russians, and it's just him getting more deeply involved into this cat and mouse spy game that takes place during the Cold War. It's honestly a forgotten gem, in my opinion. I really did truly enjoy and love this movie. It's just Anthony Edwards being an action star, which never seemed to fit.
No, I agree. I don't think I've actually ever seen it, Chad. It's one of those where I've seen scenes from it, but I've actually never watched it.
It definitely needs a revisit on my part because I haven't seen it in a very long time.
I'm going to go somewhat obscure. I know you're shocked, but actually, this is the film that somebody introduced me to in college. I hadn't seen it, and they knew I liked dystopian works and stuff. And, gentlemen, it turns out, I don't know if you all knew this, but did you know during the Cold War, there was the USSR and the United States,
Don't know how lucky you are, James.
but it turns out there were other countries too? Well,
What?
it turns out that this particular film is about what happens if the United States and Russia do their thing and it triggers complications. I'm referring to The Day the Earth Caught Fire, which is basically a film about England sitting there as the US and Russia are testing these weapons that they're thinking they're going to use against each other, but it turns out it slowly knocks the Earth off of its axis, and we're having huge heat and things like that, and we're now spiraling out of control. And it's this kind of warning about how far do we go. Matter of fact, in 1977, when they redid Godzilla, they included a clip from this movie in that film because it kind of is the same sort of warning kind of commentary that Godzilla was. But very few people have seen The Day the Earth Caught Fire. It does star Janet Monroe, best known to most people as the ever lovely daughter of Darby O'Gill from Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
All the little people?
All the little people. Are we doing Beyonce?
All the cigarettes? All the cigarettes. This has been Joe Lewis. I mean, this has been Bonehead Weekly Fun Size.
It's the Joe Lewis Show starring him. Hey, he's Joe. It's the Joe Lewis Show.
All the
And he's got
cigarettes.
lots of great guests.
All the cigarettes.